Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name's Amy. I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We are in the NIV. We are in the book of Joshua. We are continuing the story, picking up where we left off in chapter 4 is where we're at right now. We left off at the end of chapter 3. It's a continuation of the story of crossing the Jordan. Now, remember, Moses has passed. Joshua is the new leader. He's a descendant of Joseph, and who would actually be the first of those children of Israel to ever show any abilities in the first place, because he could interpret dreams. Joseph. So, Joshua has led them to the river's edge and told the Levitical priest to carry the Ark of the Covenant into the middle of the Jordan River, and the water's edge on either side is now standing up on edge again, like it did for Moses, but now at the command of Joshua. So, this is to confirm for this generation that the Lord has chosen Joshua to be their leader. So, when the whole nation had finished crossing the Jordan, the Lord said to Joshua, "Choose 12 men from among the people, one from each tribe, and tell them to take up 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan, from the right where the priest stood, and carry them over with you and put them down at the place where you stay tonight." So Joshua called together the 12 men who had been appointed from the Israelites, one from each tribe, and said to them, "Go before the ark of the Lord your God into the middle of the Jordan. Each of you take a stone on his shoulder according to the number of tribes of the Israelites, to serve as a sign among you. In the future, when your children ask you, 'What do these stones mean?' tell them that the flow of the Jordan was cut off before the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord. When it crossed the Jordan, the waters of the Jordan were cut off. These stones are to be a memorial to the people of Israel forever." It's a pretty consistent thing. He likes, the Old Testament really has a lot of the Lord liking stone markers, things that have not been worked over by the hand of man, just stacked and moved dirt. He likes stacked and moved things, but not so much with the carved things in this part of this culture. So the Israelites, we're in verse 8. So the Israelites did as Joshua commanded them. They took 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan, according to the number of tribes of the Israelites, as the Lord had told Joshua, and they carried them over with them to their camp, where they put them down. Joshua set up the 12 stones that had been in the middle of the Jordan. We got a footnote, a C. And that is, Joshua also set up 12 stones. Okay. In the middle of the Jordan, at the spot where the priests who had carried the Ark of the Covenant had stood. And there they are to this day. Now, the priest who carried the ark remained standing in the middle of the Jordan until the Lord had commanded Joshua was done by the people, just as Moses had directed Joshua. The people hurried over, and as soon as all of them had crossed, the ark of the Lord and the priests came over to the other side while the people watched. The men of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh crossed over armed in front of the Israelites, as Moses had directed them. About 40,000 armed for battle crossed over before the Lord to the plains of the Jericho for war. That day, the Lord exalted Joshua in the sight of all of Israel, and they revered him all the days of his life, just as they had revered Moses. Then the Lord said to Joshua, "Command the priests, carry the ark of the testimony to come up out of the Jordan." So Joshua commanded the priests, come up out of the Jordan. And the priests came up out of the river carrying the ark of the covenant. No sooner than they set their feet on dry ground than the waters of the Jordan returned to their place and ran at the flood stage as before. On the 10th day of the first month, the people went up from the Jordan and camped at Gilgal on the eastern border of the Jericho, and Joshua set up at Gilgal, that's Gilgal, the 12 stones that had been taken out of the Jordan. He said to the Israelites, in the future, when these descendants ask their fathers, what do these stones mean? Tell them, Israel crossed the Jordan on dry ground. For the Lord your God dried up the Jordan before you until you had crossed over. The Lord your God did to the Jordan what he had done to the Red Sea. And then, of course, it's got footnote of A, where it's the Sea of Reeds, not really the Red Sea. When he dried it up before us until we had crossed over. He did this so that all the peoples of the earth might know that the hand of the Lord is powerful, and so that you might always fear the Lord your God. So, repeat performances. It's a good deal. That means that they're favored at this time. Let's see how long they can keep it for. Until the next video, friends.